Your body can produce blood that almost nobody else on Earth could safely replace. No transfusion. No compatible donor. Nothing but your own body. Fewer than 50 people are known to have that blood. But that's not the strangest thing about the human body. It's just the one that could kill you the fastest. Red hair. Mismatched eyes. Extra fingers. Organs sitting on the opposite side of the chest. These traits can seem like random accidents. But many of them have been appearing for thousands of years, in ancient skeletons, preserved DNA, old artwork, and forgotten legends. By the end of this, you'll know which of these your own body might be quietly hiding. Start with your hair. Natural red hair is uncommon today, but its story goes back much further than most people realize. Most red hair in modern humans is linked to variants of MC1R, a gene involved in determining which type of pigment the body produces. But ancient DNA revealed something unexpected. Some Neanderthals probably had pale skin and reddish hair too. That doesn't mean modern redheads simply inherited red hair from Neanderthals. The known Neanderthal variant was different from the variants responsible for most red hair today. Instead, evolution appears to have reached a similar result independently. Almost like two ancient artists mixing nearly the same color, using different ingredients. So red hair isn't one unbroken flame passed through prehistory. It's a color evolution discovered more than once. And that color wasn't always admired. In Greek and Roman writing, unusual coloring could be seen as exotic, foreign, or even ominous. Later folklore linked red hair to fiery tempers, witchcraft, and betrayal. None of that came from biology. It came from a very human habit. When a feature is rare, people invent a personality to explain it. History never really disappears. It just hides in places we forget to look. If that's the kind of mystery you enjoy uncovering, subscribe. Now move down to the eyes. Green eyes are often described as one of the rarest common eye colors. But there isn't a single green eye gene. Eye color comes from the amount and distribution of pigment in the iris, influenced by several different genes. And this is where ancient DNA changes the picture. For a long time, we imagined prehistoric Europeans as looking fairly similar. Instead, genetic evidence suggests some hunter-gatherers thousands of years ago had combinations that would still look striking today. Including dark skin with light eyes. A hunter-gatherer who lived in Spain around 7,000 years ago was predicted to have dark skin and blue eyes. That combination only feels unusual because modern populations reshuffled the palette. The past wasn't a faded version of the present. It had its own faces. But an even more obvious difference appears when the two eyes don't match. Complete heterochromia happens when the irises develop different pigmentation. Ancient writers occasionally associated mismatched eyes with extraordinary people. Alexander the Great was later described in tradition as having eyes of different colors. But the evidence isn't strong enough to treat that as verified history. And that uncertainty matters. Ancient societies often turned unusual bodies into symbols. A mismatched gaze could become proof that a ruler was blessed by the gods, possessed two different natures, or could see more than ordinary people. Modern science gives a much less dramatic explanation. Heterochromia may be inherited, develop naturally, or result from injury or disease. No divine vision required. Although, admittedly, uneven melanin distribution sounds far less impressive when you're introducing yourself as ruler of the known world. Now look at the skin. Albinism isn't simply having white skin. It's a group of inherited conditions in which the production or distribution of melanin is reduced. That affects the skin, hair, and eyes, and often causes significant visual impairment. Ancient writers described unusually pale people as sacred or extraordinary, but because skeletons don't preserve skin color, we can't confidently identify any of those descriptions as albinism. That's the historical trap. Ancient people saw meaning. Modern observers sometimes see a diagnosis. Both may be seeing only part of the person. Another rare pigmentation trait is piebaldism. It creates sharply defined patches where pigment-producing cells are absent. Often, it includes a white forelock that's present from birth. Unlike vitiligo, these patches usually appear early and remain relatively stable. Today, science connects many cases to disruptions in the development or migration of melanocytes, the cells that produce pigment. To an ancient observer, a white streak in the hair of an otherwise dark-haired family wouldn't look like cell migration. It would look like a sign. A blessing if the community admired difference. A warning if it feared it. The gene stayed the same. The story surrounding the person changed everything. Now leave the visible body behind. Somewhere in an ancient city, a merchant, a soldier, or even a queen, may have carried a body that was a perfect mirror image of everyone else's, and never known it. Aristotle reportedly noticed transposed organs in animals. But complete reversal in humans wasn't properly documented until the age of anatomical dissection. Marco Aurelio Severino described a case in the 17th century, long after the ancient world had ended. Most people share the same general internal layout. The heart leans left. The liver sits mostly on the right. The stomach rests on the left. But in roughly one person out of every 10,000, that arrangement is completely reversed. It's called situs inversus. And someone can live their entire life with it. Only discovering it by accident during a scan or surgery for something completely unrelated. No prophecy noticed. No priest recorded it. History simply walked past the mystery, because it was hidden beneath the skin. Now to the blood. Forget AB negative. The rarest blood on Earth has its own nickname. Golden blood. Red blood cells carry surface markers called antigens. In Rh-null blood, every single Rh antigen is missing. Fewer than 50 people have ever been reported with it. It's incredibly valuable because it can save people with extremely rare compatibility needs, but it's also dangerous for the people who carry it. Because almost nothing else on Earth can save them if they ever need a transfusion. Ancient physicians had no concept of antigens. To them, blood represented life, ancestry, sacrifice, and kinship. They had no idea that two perfectly healthy people could carry blood that became dangerous the moment it mixed. For thousands of years, blood was treated as a mystical essence. Modern medicine discovered that part of the mystery was simply microscopic paperwork. Now move to the hands. At Chaco Canyon in the American Southwest, six-toed feet appear again and again. In burials. On sandals. And carved into rock art from the ancestral Pueblo world. At Pueblo Bonito, people with extra digits seem to have received special care. In some cases, they were even associated with socially important spaces. Being born with an extra finger or toe is called polydactyly. It appears in populations around the world. Sometimes it's only a small soft tissue nub. Sometimes it's a fully formed extra digit. And at Chaco, it wasn't hidden. It was displayed. Carved into stone. That doesn't prove every six-toed person was elite or sacred. But it strongly suggests the trait carried significance, not shame. A feature one society might surgically remove, another carved into stone. Rarity doesn't determine status. Culture does. Finally, which hand do you use? Most people are right-handed. Left-handedness is less common. And true ambidexterity is rarer still. This isn't simply a habit shaped by scissors or frustrated school teachers. Some prehistoric people held meat in their teeth while cutting it with a stone blade. Today, the scratches left on those teeth still reveal which hand held the knife. Evidence from Neanderthals and even earlier human relatives suggests that right-hand preference stretches back hundreds of thousands of years. In one study, most Neanderthal teeth examined showed scratch patterns consistent with right-handed tool use. So every time you favor one hand over the other, you're continuing a pattern older than farming. Older than writing. Possibly older than our own species. And the minority who favor the other hand. They're not mistakes in the pattern, They're proof that humanity has never followed just one path. A red-haired Neanderthal never knew their pigmentation would one day become scientific evidence. A six-toed child at Chaco grew up in a culture that gave that difference meaning. And somewhere, right now, someone carries blood so rare that almost nobody on Earth could replace it if they needed it to survive. Your body isn't a collection of cosmetic settings. It's a temporary arrangement of very old instructions. Some shaped by climate. Some carried through migration. Some appearing once by chance and passed forward. And some turned into myth simply because people struggle to see something unusual without inventing a reason for it. So no, the strangest thing about the human body was never golden blood, or mirrored organs, or a six-toed foot carved into stone. It's us. It's what we do with difference the moment we see it. Maybe the rarest trait of all is the ability to look at someone different and resist turning their body into a prophecy.